Hey, YouTubers, Tasman here, bringing you another episode of Foundry Virtual Tabletop version 12 from the ground up. Nailed it. So in our last episode, we went over this cool mod that allows you to have this little mouse over the token tooltip alt, which I actually really like. Some things you can actually also do that was in there when we were looking. I'm just gonna say this. I'm not actually going to go into it, but if we go look at it with this and go into the manager, we can actually kind of copy what we did in the main one and do it for like the characters and NPCs. But then you can also then change it. So, well, actually, was it here? Maybe it's actually in the default. We can actually change it so that, well, actually this isn't doing what I was thinking. Never mind. I'll have to look into it more because I could have swore I saw something about it and it was pretty cool. So in this episode, I was trying really hard to think of what would be a really good thing. Kind of QOL helps you just get your game going and stuff like that. And I know in the past, I'm going to get rid of our whole group of everyone on here, because one thing I like, and this is something to really take into consideration if you're planning on streaming the your games and stuff like that. A lot of GMs, they don't like to show health bars, they don't like to show names and stuff like that. But the one thing that I find hardest in a stream sometimes is when they have all these tokens out there is who's attacking what, who is who, and all that stuff. So if you are actually running a game, even though a lot of GMs are like, well, I just don't like them. Well, you're not necessarily you're streaming it for the people, not for yourself. So kind of keep that in mind. I think it's actually in core I want to go. So one thing I always like to do is do the configure the default token settings. And I like to make it so I don't care about names usually. So I will say display name always for everyone. And that means that, whoever is on there can actually see. The default token disposition is going to be hostile. This is just when I drag a token out. If it's a player token, it actually is attached to something, it acts differently. But generally, if it's an NPC, it'll usually be hostile. So I just leave those all as is. And the only other thing I like to do here is actually come and say display bars and then say always for owner, because usually this is going to be the hostile ones that will be displaying to me. Or if I have players and stuff like that, I can say that individually, and I usually will set that, make sure it's set properly. So now what it will do when we drag a token out, it will actually have the hot bar already. We can pretend you don't see that. We can bring out a token, and now you'll see that it didn't work. I love it when it doesn't work for me. I did hit save, right? I'm really infamous at not hitting save at the bottom. And then just closing that and then hitting save here. So let me just double check that real quick. So we come in here, always for everyone, yes. Always for owner. I'm not sure why that didn't work then. Oh, actually, I bet you I do know why, actually. So, this will bring us to our first mod that I wanted to actually do. The reason it's not doing it is because what that is talking about is if I bring a monster from the compendium. So if I go into the compendium browser here and go back to our actors, these have already been created. They already have their stats and stuff like that. But if I go into the compendium browser, for example, and grab what should I grab? Maybe let's grab what do we got? Drow. Trying to think of something maybe simple. Let's a ghoul maybe. GOU. Am I not in? I think this is more for good guys stuff. I don't know. I'm not super. I don't know. Oh, actually, I don't have. Maybe it's just because it's not in here. Because we're running I think there's ghouls, right? GOU probably won't pull up here because I have to go there. Undead, right? Undead. Oh, I already had it up. Undead. And there's a ghoul right there. All right, so if we do that, we can actually drag one of these in here. And if we go look at the ghoul now and we drag him out, you can see his bar, but I left it on hover, didn't I? Darn it. So I'm going to get rid of these guys real quick so that once I do this, because this next part is going to be a little important, I guess, that we have these. So I'll go and delete those guys. Let me just double check again. I guess triple check. So always for everyone, hostile. That's even me though. It should have been showing me their names. I don't think I have any modules on here that would be conflicting with. No, not yet. Always for owner, show the HP, yes, and always for everyone, and that is perfect. All right, well, we'll play with it as we get to it and stuff. So anyway, that's one recommendation. Now, usually if I'm streaming, I don't have the monster's HP displayed. So instead of letting the stream see my actual screen, I usually use something, you know, I have on my second monitor a smaller, you know, a version of the game or as a camera or something like that. And then, you know, through lots of different other types of modules and settings and configurations where it kind of follows your players, they get to see what your players see. So basically they will get to see, you know, the players, all their healths, their name. The mobs, they should see just their names but not their health. So let's just talk about one of the modules I really like that is very, very handy, and it is called Quick Insert. If you have never used this, I don't know why. If you do use this once, you'll definitely love it. So what Quick Insert does is gives you a really quick way of searching compendiums without having to open individuals. You know how we had to go to the SRD, then we had to open up monsters that pulled up in a window, but then we had to go into undead. This will allow you to do it without having to do all that stuff, and it gives you a really easy way of doing it. If you use, I think, like Visual Studio Code and stuff, and what brings up kind of search stuff, or, you know, pulls up the context menus and stuff, it's Control and space. So if we come in here, go to search widget, very simple little configuration, talking here that, you know, GMs only can use it or something. I usually set that. Everything else I really don't touch. You have your user settings, you have just lots of other different settings. Like I said, I usually don't touch them. But the really nice thing this does is now if I hit Control Space, I get this little box here. And then if I wanted to type our ghoul, G-O, you'll see that we start getting this giant menu. And we can scroll up. Actually, I probably should have been in the Actor tab. So we can come in here and G-O-U. Am I spelling ghoul wrong? That's probably what it is. G-H. That's why. I'm a dummy. G-H-O, like that. And then you can drag it onto the table. You can drag it over here. And let's go ahead and just drag it in here real quick. And I want to check it real quick and see if it's saying that. So, ghoul, hovered by owner. Why is that hovered by owner? It's supposed to be always for everyone. I might have to look into that. I'm not sure why it's doing that. So now the ghouls are everyone. So if we come in, it's actually doing the health bar right. It's still not doing that. It's ignoring me. I swear. It always works until I try and show it off and say, oh, check how cool this is. And then it's like, nah, probably not. Hovered by, did I not? I probably did it, didn't I? Okay, update token. Make sure I'm updating the token, not just closing the window. And there we go. Perfect. So, and then I don't think I've already done it with these guys either. So we're going to do it with these guys as well. And then I want to show you one. There's a really cool feature that they've actually an update to this itself. So as you can see, this hovered for everyone. I like that, and I like always for owner. That's perfect. Update token. Make sure I hit update token. Merrick, your turn. Go ahead, hover for everyone. Always for everyone. Just verify, because I know the first one that I don't do that on, it will actually have been set the other way. So always for everyone, and always for, technically I guess with my players I do always for everyone as well. So now I have to come back through and do them all. That's because of the default thing here. Okay, so and now that we're doing always for owner, always for everyone. Perfect. Alright, so now when we bring our guys out, they'll already have their name there. If another guy's close enough, it should update them with the shield and stuff. Go ahead and throw that guy up here. Can't see him. So one thing I wanted to point out is, you know, they do have in settings where you can actually tell it, yeah, I want you to automatically append things. I use a different mod for that, which we're actually going to be going over shortly. But if we wanted to get others, I just want to see. So let's go ahead and now get maybe skeleton and zombie, just your standard undead guys. So control space, go ahead and get rid of everything. SKEL. So some really nice things about this. Also the thing here, if you do, I think it's the @ symbol, you're going to actually look for some very, very specific things, saying I want to look at races, I want to look at actors, and say ACT, and then hit tab. So now you can see just all your actors. So it actually can even search this if you want your playlist. You can do, I believe it's @PLA. Is it playlist or @P? Might be music. Hey, I don't know all of them. There's so many cool options. So we just got a skeleton. Let's go get a zombie. ZOM. And so like if you're you know going, oh, I don't have any healing potions, they need a healing potion, you can always come in here and say control space and do HEALING, and then come up and find our super minor potion of healing, drag that in so that you have it. I believe it will even find our Ring of Giants, which I don't think actually exists as a regular item. I guess we'll find out. Ring of, and there it is right there. In our items directory it says, so I can click on that to show it, get information on it. It's really, really handy utility. What are we at? We're at 13 minutes. Okay, I think we're doing okay. So the next one I wanted to show, and it might make all the stuff I was showing you about the default token a little moot, because it kind of does the same thing, but then it also does some really cool other things. So one thing I want to do in prep for it is I'm going to bring just a bunch of ghouls out here. I'm going to bring out, there, 7's good. I think 7's great. So we have our 7 ghouls. I need to go double check these guys because I got the feeling they're not going to love me. So that should be hover by owner, always for owner. Yeah, see? Hold on. Oh no, I read it wrong. I was saying it and not registering what I was saying. Always for everyone on the first one, update token. And then this one and this one, always for everyone. And make sure, always for owner. Perfect. Okay, so that's what I want. So if we go look at what our players see, where is our player one? Right here. Terrible player to choose because he doesn't have vision. But you'll see that now they can actually see all the ghouls. They can see the names of their friends and everything else. And this is what your players and people. Why is Seraph not? Oh, actually, I know why. He's not in the group. I'm pretty sure. Actually, oh, I know why. I don't own him. So yeah. Anyway, that gives you a quick rundown of that. So the next thing I want to show you is a cool module called Token Mold. Now this one, it kind of went away for a while, and finally the person came back, which is awesome. So Token Mold, what it allows you to do is basically set up those defaults, and it's a little more advanced than just your standard thing. And it has a really cool feature that, like, if I pull a pre-generated, if we pretend like this is a pre-generated a dungeon or an adventure, and there are mobs already placed on the map, if I want to apply, you know, what we're going to do to each of these guys, I actually have to go delete and drag out new guys so that it applies those settings to them. But with Token Mold, it actually, you can do it more on the fly. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here under actors. We now have this bar on top, and this is saying when I drag out an actor that is not a linked actor, meaning it doesn't link directly to a single sheet, when you drag it out, it creates its own, so to speak. It says I'm going to apply these things. So one, it's going to modify the name, and I can just uncheck or check it. This is going to randomize the HP, which I really like, having just a small little window. So they're not like, oh yeah, I killed the last one, it was 10 HP, so I just did 9 HP. This one's got 1 HP left, so I don't need to do anything heavy. Well, with this, it kind of has that little window of randomization where, let's say, that one it rolled and it was just a 9 HP, but the next one was maybe a 12 HP or a 15 or something like that. So it allows you to do that. I usually don't do anything on the config, and the overlay, usually I can default just to whatever is in there, but we'll go ahead and set some things. But the overlay also has an option to this hovering that we're seeing. So let's go ahead, we're going to click the little gear, get it to pull up, and we're going to look at this guy. I don't think there's much in the settings that I think if you, in settings, if you go to that one, it actually just pulls this one up, or there is no setting, which that's the case. All right, so let's go in here. The first thing we have is name. Now the default is when I drag out a thing, it's going to append a number to it, and I don't like that myself. I don't like it because if I drag out some guys here, you'll see, oh, 0, 1, and you can actually hear it rolling their HP, right? So now if my guys come in and they happen to see this guy first, they know, okay, there's at least, 2, 3, if they knew it started at 0. And you'll see with each of these that this one has 29, this one has 28, this one has 17. So it's using basically their stats here, where it says, where does it say? Usually on the card it actually says what you would roll to get their stats, and it's actually using that. I can't remember where exactly that is in here. Might be here. No, let's modify it. How about this one? No. I don't know on this, which is, I can't wait till we get to our other sheets. I don't think I have that one installed yet, do we? Let's check. Oh, not yet. But I think if we go to the legacy real quick on this one, actually, let's just not do it as default. Let's go ahead and change this to legacy real quick. I think it does say it in here. Okay, it does not. Oh well. Let's go ahead and grab this guy. Let's go back to the ginormous sheet. Sheet right here. Go back to the default. Oops, default. So it'll switch to whatever the default is. All right. So anyway, as you can see, it does give us this little 1, 2, 3. I don't like that. So I usually disable that. So I don't add a counting suffix. You can make it so it's Arabic numbers. You can make it alphabetic, so it's like dizzy. Oh, you're seeing more than I wanted to at the moment, but it would say alphabetic, an alpha letter in there, or alpha lower number, or Roman numerals. So I usually turn that one off. The one I do like is this thing that's adding in front of it. I've never seen it say a bad word before. That's interesting. Maybe it's because this isn't the dictionary I use. So I say add a random adjective from a dictionary. And then I just turned, there's a ginormous one in here, right? Where is it? It's just below where you can see. Right here is one that says English over 4,700 random adjectives. Little less common that you'll actually get, something that you already have. So we go delete them, and then you can say I want the adjective before their actual name or after their name. So I leave it in the front, and then with the base name, do you remove it just so it says the main thing? Do you replace it with a random? I usually leave that at nothing as well. So now that we've done that, if we bring some guys out here, you'll hear it's still doing. Oh, I haven't saved it. Darn it. I'm so good at this. So if we hit save and close, we can open it back up now. And we start bringing out some ghouls. You'll see now we have the noble ghoul. We have the exceptional ghoul. We have the spiritual ghoul. And we have, the tanned and the extra. So I like this because it's so much... sometimes they're really funny. But then your players can say, I attack the noble ghoul. And I can actually instantly do that, opposed to when you just have all these guys in the combat tracker and you have to mouse over them and figure out which one's which and all that fun stuff. So that's usually how I set up that. Then we have the system specific stuff, which I don't mess with. The default configs I do kind of mess with, or no, not the default configs. I probably should though, because it doesn't seem to be doing it quite right. But it is now. It's actually doing it right. So I'm not going to worry about that. This setting up here is what says, okay, if I have an unlinked token, meaning that I pull out a token, it actually creates a character sheet for that token that tracks its health individually, opposed to a character that is linked to one specific character sheet. And even if I went to other pages or other maps, it's going to still be linked to that same one. So if I turn that off, now if I bring out Seraph, you'll see he is illustrous. And I bring him out again, now he's a different Seraph. Even though these two are actually linked to the same thing. It's not doing the HP because obviously you don't have that little formula saying to roll HP. So you'd have to go make some changes in there. But usually I just leave it to unlinked tokens and then make manual changes. There's usually a lot less players than there are enemies. The last one I do like, but we don't actually need, is because we have this new one, is you'll see when I mouse over a token, you'll see that little 10 and 12 inside the token. We no longer need that one. We don't need it because we have the token tooltip alt. So we can actually just go ahead and get rid of both of those and not have to worry about those. I thought I could get rid of both. Or maybe find another value we can actually put in there. It doesn't want to get rid of... Oh, maybe if I come up here and just set it to nothing. There it was. It was at the top. None. So we can actually do that. And now, did I hit save? I did, because it's a save and close. Now you see we only have our info on there. If our players look at them, they're able to see... Oh, just hear all their things. So they're able to see those fancy names and stuff like that. But they don't get any other information on our things. So anyone watching your stream would also see this same thing. So really nice other tool there is that. Now, one of the things that this is really, really awesome for, like I said, let's say we have just a giant map, hundreds of tokens of NPCs that I want to actually put in this type of format so it has a nice thing. Well, the way you used to have to do it is you'd have to go and drag out a token and delete a token, drag out a token, because these guys all have their, they have different health and stuff. Well, with token mold, you can actually highlight the ones you want and click this little refresh button, and it will apply all your settings to those tokens. So if we do this, you'll see it gave health, subtracted health, and gave them all individual names. Amazing. I don't know. I've done abomination vaults, and before I was working again, I had to go through. I think I went through like 3 levels of it, and had to go drag out a new token, delete the old token, drag out a new token, delete on every single mob that was on the map. And the default for them is that they don't have a bar, they don't have a name. So you really have to look close and go, is that a token that's invisible? You know, because when they're invisible and it's a dark map, that was the wrong button. If they're invisible and it's a dark map, there's no bars or anything like that, really hard to see what's going on. So token mold, awesome thing, and I really hope that the developer of it keeps it up. I was actually going to go into some others, but I ended up going, because of our issues, we ended up running into. Okay, good. That is reset. I kind of didn't get to the other ones. So I think pretty good still. We did go over the quick insert mod, and we went over token mold, 2 invaluable mods. I was thinking, and I don't know, don't hold me to this, but I think some other mods that would be valuable to actually go over would be, where is it? There is one in here called Force Client Settings. There's also this Force Client Controls, but it hasn't actually been updated. But this one's really nice, and I was going to pair that with the sidebar macro, because sidebar macro kind of has a nasty little habit of doing something very annoying. As awesome as the thing is, it just has this little annoying thing that using the force settings would be really nice with. So hopefully I will end up going over those 2 and maybe something else. I don't know. It depends on time in the next episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Oh, I almost forgot the other thing I wanted to show you that is actually just the system update. Sorry, this is cool as well. So let's say I have all my mobs here, and I want to put them in the combat tracker. And that's a lot of mobs. It will make a very big combat tracker, as you can see. Well, they've added a new feature, and there's 2 ways I've seen this be used. One is if you're the GM and you usually roll where all your mobs go on the same initiative roll. You can do it that way, and then this will actually still track and keep it nice and clean for you. But this will also take, say, your mobs, and you have multiple mobs that get the same initiative. It actually depends on whichever one was rolled first and stuff like that, because you usually don't care as much about that. So we're going to come in here and we're going to click the roll all, and you'll notice surprisingly that there's not very many that did what I wanted, but you'll notice our list got shorter, and we actually got this little arrow on 3 of them. What that has done is the mobs that got this initiative right here, which is nat 20s, I guess, they got grouped. And so now when we go into begin combat and we're here, I wonder if that automatically expands it if we go into the next. That's something they could definitely do, because when they aren't grouped, I guess you still have to come in and expand it. Be nice that if when you actually did it and it hit the group, it automatically expands the group, does the 2, and then closes the group when it leaves. I mean, I don't. Oh, actually. Oh no. Okay. I don't know if it closes the group. I kind of doubt it. That would be really nice. So here we are. We're going into the group. And you'll notice it went right to the first one, not the actual group. It went there to the next one, and then it left the group and jumped into the next one. Really cool feature. Looks like I said, it has a couple things that could make it even better. Like if it automatically expanded the group, when it got there, and then closed it when it left. That way you're not going, oh, it just went into a group, I have to go open it. That definitely kind of is a little bit annoying to do as well. But it is interesting that inside the group, it actually just kind of goes 1 and 2 and then moves on through. It's on 1, now it's on 2. All right, done. So that is it. That was the thing I wanted to show you, is kind of that feature. I was hoping it would group a lot more together, but it really didn't. So thank you guys. I don't remember now if I said this, but thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Aside from that, comment, like, and subscribe. Click that little notification bell. Tell other people about my channel. Check it out. If they like what they see, they can sub. If not, yeah, they don't sub. It's not that bad. Yeah, that's it, my friends. Until next time, I'll be seeing you later. Bye.